Effectively communicating with your supporters is one of the most important ways to move them into action. In NationBuilder, you have several powerful tools for reaching your audience: email blasts, automated email series, and text messaging. Each of these channels serves a different purpose, and when used together, they help you engage people consistently, build stronger relationships, and inspire them to act. In this module, we'll break down how to use those channels effectively, starting with a key concept: broadcasters. Let's start with the understanding of the concept of broadcasters, which are the voice of your nation. A broadcaster represents the person or entity communicating with your supporters. It's recommended to set up at least one broadcaster for each type of communication, so messages are clear and consistent. With a broadcaster, you can send emails, text blasts, and even log phone calls and receive voicemails. For example, you might create a broadcaster for your executive director to send official announcements, and another for your volunteer manager to handle recruitment and reminders. This helps personalize your outreach and ensures supporters know who they're hearing from. I'm going to click on this broadcaster. I'm heading to the Settings tab. This is where you can configure your broadcaster to update the name and email address of the broadcaster, set who can send from the broadcaster, and set your broadcaster to receive incoming emails in your nation, as well as voicemails if you add a phone number. That last feature is for the United States and Canada only. Moving back to the Email tab, here you can see all of the sent and draft email blasts in your broadcaster, along with associated stats like opened, clicked, if any donations were converted from an email, the unsubscribe rate, and then the bounced, bad, and spam rates. Since we are on the subject of the email, let's look at how to create a new email blast. I click on New Email Blast, and I'm immediately prompted to choose a theme. You can pick from NationBuilder's drag-and-drop themes for an easy customizable option, or select an HTML theme if you prefer to work with code. Later, we'll also be able to access your saved themes for consistent branding. Next, we'll configure our eBlast settings. Enter a name and description. Those are for internal reference only. You can leave or update the sender name and enter a subject line. If you'd like, you can use A/B testing to test different subject lines or sending names. You can enter the preview text, which will display in the recipient's inbox on top of the subject line. There's also an optional checkbox that lets you pre-fill forms for your recipients, which can increase response rates. That option also means that if a recipient forwards the email to their friends, the initial recipient's information will be pre-populated on forms when links are clicked on from that email. Now we can add our content. On the right, you'll use the editor, dragging in content blocks like text, images, and buttons. It's very easy and intuitive to add and reorder your blocks. The Styles tab allows you to adjust formatting, and with image resizing built in, you can make sure graphics look sharp across devices. Use the Add Button option to include a call to action. You can personalize content with a few clicks using Smart Fields. Smart Fields allow you to render data about each person, like their name, their donation history, or engagement level, directly into your email. They're essential for creating messages that feel personal and relevant. For even more customization, you can use Liquid variables. Liquid is a simple coding language that allows you to create dynamic content in your emails. For example, you might want to encourage a supporter to donate 3 times their last gift. You can use a liquid variable to multiply their last donation by 3 and display that unique amount for each individual, or display a different text depending on if recipients live in a certain area or have a specific tag. While you can't attach a file to an email blast, if you need to make it easy for your recipient to access a PDF file, like the agenda for your event, you can upload it under Files, copy the link, and hyperlink it in your content. Don't forget to save your content after each update. When you're done, on the left, you'll see a preview button where you can toggle between desktop, mobile, and plain text views to see if everything looks good. You can also send yourself a test email and save your email as a template to use next time. Now that your email is ready, it's time to choose your audience. You can send to supporters or prospects, selecting people from a list, a save filter, or a tag. Always take a moment to preview recipients to confirm your targeting is correct. We highly recommend not sending to all. Each email should be relevant to each of your recipients. People in your community have different levels of engagement. Some have been supporters for years, and some have only just joined. Some have donated, some have regularly volunteered. Segment your communication to adapt to where each person is at. We also recommend sending only to people who have been engaged with your communications in the last 6 months. Leveraging saved filters that incorporate this criteria can be vital. Before sending, you'll see a final review screen. Here you can double-check your content, settings, and update your recipient preview if needed. Once everything looks good, go ahead and send or schedule your email. After your blast is sent, don't forget to check your email stats. Actively monitoring performance, like open rates and click-throughs, will help you refine your messaging and improve results over time. We recommend cleaning your bounces between each send and getting in touch with our support team or your account manager if you are seeing declining email stats. Now that we have seen how to create individual email blasts in NationBuilder, let's take a look at how we can set up automated email series. For this, we will switch to another area of the product, workflows. NationBuilder's email automation feature lets you create an automated email series, sending messages over time with delays you define to the audience of your choice. Automations use the data in your nation to move supporters through a journey, ensuring they get the right message at the right moment. You can start an automation from different sources, as well as exclude users or track conversions. Let's walk through how to set up an automation in NationBuilder. You can see first the list of existing automations in this nation and their current status: draft, ended, or active. Note that you are able to edit the content of the emails within an automation after pausing it, but you are not able to edit the steps, nor can you clone an existing automation. So it's important to think ahead and get it right. To create a new automation, start by selecting New Automation. Give your automation a clear name so you can recognize it later, and optionally, a description about its purpose. Next, choose your source by clicking Get Started. You can use a list or a page source, but we recommend creating a multiple source automation, so you can add people from different entry points, like website actions, along with manual add-ons from the people filter. A list source automation will only send to the people on the list at the time when you launch the automation, and a page source automation will only have one single page as the source. Now, let's build the series. First, we can start with adding a time delay. This determines how long NationBuilder waits before sending the first email after you add them to the automation. We could also start directly with an email, in which case the email would go straight out once the person has been added. If you are planning for your automation to start after people take action on a page that sends an auto-response, it's best to add a time delay. Then we can add an action. Because we added a delay, our next one here will be an email. It's similar to what we just saw earlier. You can select the theme, content, and then preview and save to the automation. We can then repeat this process, adding time delays and emails until we've built the full journey you want supporters to take. Once we are done with the content, we have the option to set up a conversion. Let's take a look at conversion goals. The call to action you want people to take, like RSVP for an event or making a donation. Once someone converts, NationBuilder can remove them from the automation, preventing them from receiving the rest of the series, which would consist of unnecessary follow-up emails. Make sure to tick Remove People from Automation when they convert. There is only a limited set of conversions: become a member, make a donation, sign up on a sign-up page, and RSVP to an event. You can set it so that a specific membership, or RSVPing to a specific event, or signing up on a specific sign-up page triggers the conversion. Now that we're all done, we can set the automation to live. First, note that you can exclude people from the automation by clicking on the drop-down next to the source. You can select Limit Enrollment. You can enter a tag so that people with this tag will never receive the automation. It's also important to note that people cannot go through the same automation twice. To set our automation to live, we will click the Run button. Now you can add people into the automation in 3 ways. Directly from my web page's settings, so anyone who signs up or takes action is automatically enrolled, or from the People section using the Actions dropdown. You can also enroll people into an automation using the API if you're familiar with it. Finally, after your automation is live, be sure to review your results. You'll be able to track email stats like opens and clicks and monitor how people are progressing through the series. You can also use people filters to show who has enrolled or completed an automation. And that's how you can create, run, and track automations in NationBuilder. In the final part of this module, we will look into how we can leverage texting as a complement to emailing our community. To show you how to create a text blast, I'm going to head back to our broadcaster. Before we continue, it's important to note that texting is only available to our United States, Canada, and United Kingdom customers. Feel free to skip this section if you are not going to use texting, as the rest of this module will solely focus on it. Texting is a powerful way to share timely information, like reminding volunteers about an event or asking supporters to take urgent action. It lets you reach people quickly, drive action, and strengthen supporter relationships. NationBuilder supports both short codes, 5-digit numbers, ideal for high-volume texting and worth discussing with your customer success manager, and 10-digit long codes that can be assigned to each broadcaster. You can send text blasts to many people at once or follow up with one-on-one text for personal engagement, which happens at the person's profile. In the People section, let's walk through how to send a text blast in NationBuilder. In our Broadcasters Texting section, we will click on New Text Blast. Enter the slug of your blast. This is just an internal name. Next, enter the message of the content below. Keep the message short and action-oriented, as you've only got 160 characters if you want to use only 1 credit for each person in your text blast. It's mandatory to keep the last line to allow people to opt out. You can use our built-in link shortener to insert a link in your text. Then click on Create Text Blast. You can also add an image to send in MMS, but this will use more credits than a regular text blast. Let's take the time here to discuss text keywords, which are really powerful. Users who text back a predefined keyword, for example, RSVP, will be recorded as having taken the same action as those filling out the form on the web page itself, including relevant point people and paths. Here you can set up keywords at the page level for several, but not all, page types, and they will be listed under the Keywords tab of your broadcaster. Let's navigate to that section now. Include the instructions text in the content of your text blast to allow your recipients to text back, which will then send the auto-response of your choice and prompt them to share missing information on their profile, such as their address or email. Next, once your content is done, choose your audience. Just like with emailing, you can send to people on a list, a saved filter, or those with a specific tag. It will only send to people who have a mobile phone number and are opted into receiving text blasts. Once you've selected, use the preview option to double-check how many people will receive your text blast and send yourself a test text. If everything looks correct, go ahead and click Send Blast or Schedule Blast. Once your text blast goes out, NationBuilder automatically tracks responses and opt-outs. You'll be able to visualize your stats along with incoming responses. To send an individual text, you'll need to head to the individual's profile in the People section. You can find textable people thanks to the Textable People filter criteria. Then, click on their profile, scroll down, and right above the activity feed and next to where you can log contacts, you can see a text option. Enter your text and click Send. You're done. Great job finishing this communications module. You're now equipped to send more intentional, more personal outreach that deepens relationships and motivates people to take action. Keep building your skills. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.